Morning. On this pound US, so it's UK inflation day, and dropped off into last night. So if we can, there's the gap fill at 280. I'm actually long this, 7 or 8 pips up at the moment. What I would suggest you do, if we see 46 again, that might be an option. There's got a little 15-minute bar in here, and the 60-minute is coming off. We've got a white chart here, coming off the 236 support here. There's the Sunday open. Sunday close was 300, so we're just 50 odd pips under that Sunday bar. So just hoping this 236 can hold, close higher, and then push us up into these levels. If I spread back a bit, I'll even put this into a 3-hour chart with some more data on it. You will see that we have a higher close. So the big bar here on Thursday ran into the 200, and here we are just trying to hold this 250. So trend line that's the main trend line we're coming into contact with, and so it's what I would call kiss and tell. It's broken up. So we were waving down since late September to early October. Got quite a nice push higher. Then we have a zigzag here, and hopefully this is another zigzag, which could take us back into these sorts of areas. So if I fib that, so if I take everything off and just fib it, fib the last range, what have we got? We've got a chart that came under the zone and back in it, rejected the 200. So we just got this potential higher, potential little buy area, this little dip underneath it. So let's just hope it holds. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. This could be wave 5. I admit the case for the downside, well, we've got all this move to the downside, push up, currently drifting lower. We have been drifting lower. Let's do the same for the FTSE and the DAX quickly, just as we get the open. DAX. On the hourly, we are so flat. This is a terrible range. 900 to 13 and 50. And here we are around about the middle with two lower. We're coming off the Sunday open, coming into support. Look at the FTSE. We're talking about the FTSE short for a while. So there's the FTSE hourly short, rejected the Sunday open range. So a little sell from 75.56 down to 75.20. Just try and hold this 200. So if we get a push into 75.48.50, then I want to get short. So if I alarm that, We're just going through yesterday's close. So ideally, I would want to see a short up here somewhere. I'll put it on this resistance for now. No, I won't. I'll stick to the original plan. I'll go for 48. I'll alert 48. I'll be keeping an eye on it anyway. So pound yen. So little push up into this open since 7:30 this morning. There's the gap fill. We touched it overnight at 40. It was pretty. You had to just buy a dip yesterday. It was very volatile, incredibly tight range yesterday. Trying to break higher at the moment. Indicators are high, so I would ideally I'd like a gap fill. While that's I think we've got plenty of time, so let's just have a look at the DAX for the moment. The Central European Open rejected the close. Looks very crowded. So we come into this with a couple of hours of selling. So this 13,000, I think I'm going to leave it. For once, I'm just going to leave it. I'll keep an eye on it, certainly. This is, at the moment, got more volume in it. This is sort of let loose. It definitely looks like, to me, it's a distribution pattern in the daily. Just easy if I drag my daily over rather than. Yeah, here we are with this major resistance level. This 75.50 is huge, and we are at the moment selling. Bullish in that we've got this knot to moving averages, but I think we need to at least come and sit in that knot to work. And a strong pound is not going to do this any good. Back to the pound US. Like I said, this has got the tighter spread and the slightly less volatility. So if we've got inflation, we do get some violent moves. I mean, it's a good 60-minute bar here. I would suggest you might want to look at, try and look at this 45.50 mark. So let's just, it seems fairly calm at the moment, so let's just wait and see what we can pick up. Yeah, pound yen definitely needs a pullback. And look at that narrow range we've got. Now, if I pull out the 15-minute chart of this is awful. Big dip on Thursday. Apart from that, smaller dips and range-bound trading. That is not a very impressive 15-minute chart if you're looking for volatility and multiple opportunities. It's not giving it. I think with the pound US, you may just have to go in at these levels. The gap is up there at 280. If we break this 250, you may just need to jump in. But it's better to wait. Yeah, we're under the 200 moving average, so let's hope we get the dip to 45. It's hard to call, isn't it? I mean, is this inflation data going to be a good one? And we need to just get in, or is it going to flap around and continue to be range bound and problematic for us? If you look at the weekly, let's draw right back to the weekly. Let's concentrate on this pound US for the moment. There's not a lot going on at the moment. So if you look at the pre-Brexit high was 150, nice round number at 150. We have been holding this trend line since we had a big day on the 16th of Jan, pulled back on the 13th of March. It took ages to really pull back into this January range, and since then all the dips have got bought, and we had a higher close last week. So in theory we could see 135, 138. The low of the Brexit bar, it's the recent high, 660. If this gets going, notice how this 50-day moving average is neatly underpinning all this price action since April on this weekly chart. And just double check that it is the 50, I'm sure it is. Oh, it's a 20. Good job I checked, isn't it? For some reason I thought I had a 50 on there. Well, let's add a 50. Okay, so we've got a crossover here in June. So in the meantime, this is just ticking up a little bit. It looks to me as if it wants to bounce at least back up to that gap fill. So we've got this is effectively a break of the open range. So we're triggered long in Scalper School. We have a Scalper School long signal at 255. Looks as if it at least wants to get to that gap. So I'm already in it. So that is triggering long. The pound yen is not. It looks to me as if it was bought at the close. So 850 will be a logical place to get into that one. Otherwise, you may just need to buy high. If you're buying high, you might want to take a half-size position. It's up to you. But this pound US has triggered long. Let's see if we can at least get up to that daily. Right, what else have we got? Let's have a look at the FTSE. Yeah, FTSE is not happy. Back down to yesterday's lows. DAX is horrible range bound. DAX may be okay from here. It's just a horrible daily. I can't bring myself to trade that. We are coming into a lot of support from yesterday. That's all I could say. Keeping an eye on the US dollar yen. I'm also keeping an eye on the euro yen. I think the euro yen is one of euro yen is a very interesting chart. 185 is last week's lows. If we get a dip to 180, I would be a buyer of this one. I made it had a long signal yesterday, which I posted. at 175. So only 25 pips off the long signal. I've come into this, it's been weak overnight, but a retest of this 182 would be very interesting. Let's have a look at where we are on the, so we triggered long on this one as well. I'm just going to dip into that one as well, get some exposure to, should have my tickets ready, shouldn't I? Okay, let's see if I can get a little bit of a dip on this one. To me, this has got a better chart than the pound yen. I can just, obviously a gap fill would be better. Not a great 15-minute chart, is it? I'm going to want to try and see if I can get closer to a gap fill on that one. But I like the 60-minute chart. Yeah, we had a big push up to 350. I think we've got a little three-way reversal pattern going on here. So I would love to see 185 again, because if that holds, that could do really well. Okay, pound US has had a bit of a zip and sort of seen some profit taking. So we were as high as close to 270. Okay. DAX is picking up. So the open trading range on this one is so the floor of the range is holding. Tough to trade. It's been tough to trade anyway, but a dip into 95 might. It's a decent buy signal on the 15-minute. It refuses. The Dow had a good close, so if it's being led by the Dow, then this is a good, possibly a good opportunity to buy a dip and see if it can. So if we dip into the range, we might be able to push higher. I'm not trading it. I've just I'd much rather trade this one. And in fact, I'm just going to buy here. If I can get a dip. Okay, I'm long this one. It's a titchy position anyway, so happy just to see if that one can pull up. Like I said, I really like the 60-minute chart. It's a hammer-like bar in the last hour, but it was a lower close. Okay, so I'm long Euro Yen, so I've got some exposure on the yen and some exposure against the dollar. So at the moment we are fading. We're just fading that trade. Why is that so long? Let's see if we can at least gap fill. So we have 3 higher closes on the 15-minute chart. Let's see if they want to buy that. The Euro Yen is close to my entry point. Just coming up to the 200 mark again. DAX is poking up a little bit. Okay, so seeing a dip into the range into the DAX. So that's trying to break out through that previous day's close. And where are we? A bit more of a dip in this one. Okay, so I'm going to go quiet now, and I'll talk to you at 1:30. Anything you want to look at? Let's look at gold. No, I won't go quiet. Let's look at gold. Gold. This is a nice pullback into a good weekly move, actually. Let me show you my other screen. Let me share the other screen. Hang on. So here's the big push in gold from last week. So we pushed up from 1276 up to 1306. So this is a potential buy area here. It's we've got a lot of red on the chart and hardly any green. But if we sit on this 50% at 1290, I think that could well push up from here. Notice on the daily chart we have just got the 50-day moving average underneath us. I've got 20, 50, 100 and 200 on this middle daily chart here. And this weekly, it's a big green bar. So if you're into gold, you might want to take a position here. If you're into oil, yeah, oil's been sitting on last week's highs. Any chart that sits on the previous week high is potentially very good. I think you've got time on this. Normally, it's only 3:20 in New York. I think if you wait another hour or two at least, if not more, you might see a dip into this 52 again. Because if we close up here, this could start really creeping up. It's a bit of a sell signal on the daily, but it's a higher close, but potential pin bar or star, depending on what you call them. But overall, I would be guided by the 60-minute chart, and if that holds up at above 52, I think that could do well. All right, DAX is flailing as usual, as we've experienced before. Flailing but holding. This is just touching the Sunday open. The yen is just slightly underneath my entry point, but I'm perfectly happy about that. And the pound US is just 12 pips off of its session highs. So we looked at gold, oil, US dollar, yen. I'd want to see 173 if I'm going to trade that. So I want to see a gap fill if it's going to trade that one. What else have we got? FTSE I've not touched. So that's tested yesterday's low and held at the moment. So I will stay out of that one for the moment. Yesterday's close in Nasdaq was good. So these markets are continuing to eke up. They refuse to sell. You can see the 60-minute. I need to take the 60-minute pattern off because I'm looking to see if we could fail up here at 940. So let me take this off because it's just not applicable. We had a buy signal on this one at 5, 6 o'clock UK time on the previous week's high. Let me fib it because if we're getting to extension levels, then it could get interesting. Yeah, we're toying with the 127 extension and we're closed above it. So it looks if we're going to see 23,000. Let me just save that. So I think so if you're trading it, I would look for a gap fill. So let's just take it back to my other chart now. Okay, so the gap is quite close to us. I would look for at least 943. So I'd look for that to come into that 200 average on the 5-minute chart and then see if that can shoot up if you can trade that one. It is sitting up there very high, but it appears that it's happy just to do that. Right, my positions are okay. I'm flat on this one at the moment, and just a few pips off the session highs on this one. Pound yen is not a good chart. I think this pound US is the better chart. I think there seems to be more liquidity in the pound US at the moment over the last week or so. Okay, I'll go quiet. I can't see anything else to trade at the moment. I've got a couple of trades on the go on the currencies, so I will talk to you in 5 minutes and then break off for a bit longer. All right, talk to you in 5. Okay, not a lot to report at the moment. Pound yen is really sideways, getting better, holding above this 870. The 1 hour chart looks good. It was a higher close in the last hour. But I've got exposure through the yen on this one, which is just narrowly above my entry point. Couple of higher closes in the 15-minute chart. And FTSE is recovering at the moment. And the DAX is back in the middle of the range, the open trading range, looking lower, I have to say. That looks as if that could drop off. And we backfilled to just above the yesterday's close. And it looks as if that's not happy up there and could come off some. The Euro US is, let me mark this one up, might as well. Yeah, this is coming off a decent level of support. This is a bottom of the zone in the 1 hour chart. Looking as if it's, get rid of this as well. Let's just do the high and the low because it's a really tight range. Very tight range. Wow. 40 pip range yesterday. Okay, so we've got 35 pip gap. A couple of higher closes. Yeah, it's just the 60-minute chart. Looks as if just sitting on the bottom of that zone. Look across to the left here. You can see that's just the bottom of the zone. So if we hold here, we could start to at least get back to 815. If we break 750, then we are coming a lot lower. So we ground higher here and sold. Yeah, so if we break that low, we are potentially coming down to these 676, 620, potentially. We've got euro inflation today, haven't we? Yeah, I've got euro inflation at 11. So if inflation has picked up, that euro yen should do well. No, it's ticking lower. Okay, at the moment. Euro is weak at the moment. May do a gap fill after all. Just coming to the low of the range. Okay, mate, that one may not work. Let's see if the 192 holds and if it wants to come and test. Let's come and touch that gap. May have got into that too soon, we'll see. All right, I'll talk to you at 1:45. I'm not taking any other trades. I will break off and talk to you at 1:45. Before I do that, let me just flick through these other pound-related charts. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on that one. It looks good to me. I think that one could, well, we're exposed to the pound anyway. I'm keeping an eye on this one. This had a big drop last week. This is back to Sunday open. This one is looking lower. DAX is dropping out. Okay. Had this last week, didn't we? Had a couple of days last week where we just touched the gap, backfilled and dropped. Yeah, that's touched Sunday's open. We're coming off of Sunday's open on this one so far. Okay, I'll talk to you at 1:45, unless you've got any questions or anything else. See you in 10. Okay, just been flicking through my 4-hour charts and so on. I think I like the trades I'm in. I'm happy to sit in those trades. Not seeing anything else at the moment. So I am break even on this one, but really liking the support underneath this 1-hour chart. And the daily is a buy signal. We've got a daily buy signal on this one. And we're just dipping into the support at this stage. So if we get down to 180 and close lower, then this is not going to work. DAX is feeling the pressure of the stronger euro, but close to support. Risk-reward ratio was not very favourable on that one, unless you take into account the daily, which is very extended. A dip into 900 would bring us into contact with the 20-day average. So if you took 04, well, great. Maybe I should have been calling that one, but like I said, it's not been an easy chart for me for some reason. Not got my head around that one properly, which is a great shame. I think it's a question of just focusing on that one, lining up your charts, and being ready to have a good plan on that one. And I was too concentrated on the euro and the pound for that, which at the moment is paying off. I just need this euro to pick up. Otherwise, nothing else to look at. The oil is really gathering a pace, beginning to get quite a bid here. The 60-minute chart is a gift. Anything that's coming off the previous week's high is a gift. So late yesterday we saw 51.90, and this morning we've seen 51.95. So that needs a dip. Normally it doesn't run too fast without the US behind it, so we'll see. That's it for me till 9 o'clock. Gold is, I still think gold is potentially, it's got no 60-minute confirmation of any buy signal yet. If we get a 15-minute hammer here, the higher close of the 15-minute chart, that might be enough to lift it. But obviously be aware of your risk. Yeah, anything that's coming off yesterday's lows, we get a confirmation above 1290, yesterday's lows, that could be enough to trigger at least a push into 13 if we see that. Okay, so looks like we've got a bit more liquidity in this market this week. Last week we just had that second half dip that stirred everything up. Yesterday was really quiet, but there's a heck of a lot of data to come through today, especially UK and European inflation. So what's going to stoke gold? Yeah, you guessed it, inflation. So this could be a good one to run alongside any other trades you've got. Right, I'm going to get a hot drink and I will see you at top of the hour, unless you've got any questions. All right, talk to you then. Hi, Walid. We're just breaking off till 9, so I'll come back and update you on what we're doing at 9. But we're basically long this pound US dollar. Okay, so I'll catch up with you in 5+ minutes. Okay, we're going to get a good 60-minute finish by the look of it. So we're a couple of minutes off. I'm just very, very slightly underwater with this euro. The DAX has come off nicely. That is or just come into the 1 hour 200 moving average. Now this is broken, I would look for a fade. If you want to trade this one, I would look for a fade at 90 to 13. Because we just obviously just come into some decent support here. But yeah, as I said, I'm not trading it at the moment. If I was going to trade this, I would ideally want a higher number. Just getting a little bit of just back to session highs here, nothing terrific. Little bit of a pickup in the euro. Looks as if this is going to be a higher close as well. Just watch this, and then we'll just wait for data. Pound yen's it's ticked higher a little bit, not much. Okay, so we've got a higher close in this hourly chart. So that could possibly lift it, at least give us yesterday's highs. 240 looks possible. And the pound US has got a nice 60-minute close. Just breaking the session highs now. Getting a little bit of a kick. And the DAX is we touched this 200 moving average 3 or 4, nearly 4 times last week, and got bought every time. So, but it's a very bearish 60-minute chart and a pretty bearish daily, really. So will stay with the euro, yen, and the pound, and I will get back to you about 25 past, close to the 25 past. Obviously, there's no saying that this is really going to rocket. At the moment, coming up for 100 quid, so that's all right. Coming into fib resistance up here at 75 and gap fill. So remember, nothing wrong with grabbing your Scalper School profits up here. In fact, I will be scaling out up here. What I don't want to do is to see this just roll over once we backfilled here. Okay, I'll talk to you at 25 past. Just a quick recap then. I'm long this one, just above, just bought a dip into the open trading range here. I'm taking some profits out of this pound, taking this particular scalp off. as it came into, got close to 100 quid off of this one. So obviously I'm swing trade long with this as well. Yeah, if you are hitting 20-25 pips, if you are hitting your scalper score target and you're here as a scalper, then you need to get out. There we are hitting resistance. Now this could rocket. This could go to 135, 136. Who knows? Who knows where it's going? But if you are here to scalp, then make sure you scalp and don't leave too much on the table. Otherwise, if you are here to get a runner, then keep your stop under that range and just leave it. Just forget about it if you're here for a runner. That's the only way you're going to get a runner. To constantly leave a trade on the table and manage it and see if you can let it go. If we start closing above 280, if we open and close above 280, then you've got the option of either getting a stop to break even, i.e. your entry point, or even start to lock in some profits. Okay, so DAX is getting a bid off of this support, and not seeing any other trades at the moment. The FTSE is drifted lower. That's a pathetic chart at the moment, very pathetic range. But like I said, you know, stay tuned to your objectives and make sure that you walk away with some profits. Okay, so now if we fade, if you're not in this and we get touched 250, 255, then you might want to consider going back in. Or enter if you had not already been in this trade. Okay, so I am happy with that at the moment. Looking to see if this Euro Yen can really pick up. But this is a great, let me just show you the daily and just spend a little bit of time on the daily. Now you see I haven't got any fibs here. What I have got is this channel. So from the low of June 15, August 18, and some of these lows in early September, they've all got bought. We formed a nearer funnel pattern here at the highs of late September. Here we are with a buy signal on the bottom of this main channel. So if we break 245, we could potentially go to 135 and ultimately close to 140. Obviously, you know, that's some distance away, and this one is not a big mover. On this day here, on 27th of June, we had a push from 125 to, well, a high of 127.50. Otherwise, these are lots of small moves here. This bar here is quite good. 29th of August, that was at 130 to a high of 131.60, 160 pips. So yeah, and more recently we've had a really small range. So to do anything, we're going to have to break 133 and close above 133. That's assuming that we don't just break 165, come down and test 180 and fall through the gap and come and test this 100 average at just above 130. The last hourly close was not great. It was it was higher, but it was a narrow range. Anyway, I like the daily, and I'm prepared to risk a trade to see if that can get up there. and oil continues to bid higher. It's a very impressive 60-minute bar on that one. The pound US is now backfilled. These gaps are really good. Gap and go, 50% fill, 100% fill. These strategies are good. I will go over them in tonight's video. I'll remind you exactly what the specifications are. And I'll pull up the slide. I'll make myself a note to pull up the slide from Scalper School and update you. But basically, it's you're just looking for open trading range breaks to the gap, or they can be used, as in the case of this DAX, they can be used as an entry point. If they're really close, if you look at this open trading range, this is a good example actually. So you got the 200 moving average resistance above, because we're starting from the base underneath. So all we've done here is pushed up into a major level of resistance from overnight resistance, well actually Central European, backfilled, hit the 200-day moving average, and here we are 20 plus pips lower. So that's a good example of how to use previous day's close as an entry level. This is a good example of how to use it as a target. Open trading range gave you a buy signal. 282 is going to be is going to see some exits, going to see some profit taking. And there we are. And on this euro, this is where it gets slightly tougher. We got equal distance of the resistance 200 moving average above us, and the gap fill on previous day's close, I should say, underneath us. So this is why this is struggling, because it's we're smack in the middle of these two pivots, and subsequently seeing lower volume because of it. In the meantime, this is fading. So we come back into 195, 200 and hold, then we might get a lift off. This pound yen is good. Obviously, I'm expecting a lot of volatility, so I'm not suggesting you try and buy this now, even on a fade. I'm expecting a lot of volatility. If you're not in this and this rockets off, all we got to do is wait for pullback tomorrow. You've got UK jobs tomorrow, and if they're expected to be poor. So if this races off, there's no need to chase it, no need to feel you've missed a trade. We can just look for the pullback in the 15-minute and 5-minute charts tomorrow, which I'll talk about in the video tonight. So not much to add at this stage. Let's have a look at gold. Okay, we have a buy signal in gold. We've closed above the previous day's move. I'm just going to take a trade in gold at this 90. Okay, so I'm long gold. Don't often trade gold in the room, do we? Target, the big 13. Let's just go under the 13, 12.98. Okay, so just got a small position there. So 12.98 is my target. It's a 60-minute chart, buy signal 60-minute chart. Hit 50% of last week's big move here, this little green bar here. Higher close, and we've closed above yesterday's low. So we have at least 3 or 4 boxes to tick on that one. All right, Euro yen begin to get a little bit of a bid. Pound US is back up to previous day's close. When we come back together at 9:25, I will talk to you about a strategy for trading the data on this one. Okay, DAX is still feeling the pressure of a strong euro. As is the FTSE. FTSE is now breaking yesterday's low. All right, I will come back to you in 10 minutes. All right, talk to you then. Okay, where are we? Euro yen is holding up. The gold is just at my entry point, so I'm flat on the gold. And pound US is coming off the previous day's close. So let's see. Right, strategy. If we get a very violent move, I would send aside. Otherwise, I will. If we come back to 250 and hold, I will get back in. If otherwise, I will just mark off the first 5 minute bar of this data range and then trade it accordingly. Okay, so euro is just a few ticks above my entry. Gold is slightly under. Let's see what it gives us. Okay, pound yen has had a small run, not a very big run at all. The DAX is potentially going to fade, or potentially going to push off this low. We get a buy signal here at the top of the hour. It could push up. Okay, so not that little squirt in the pounds so far. All we've got out of this, unless you're in oil. So let's sit tight and see where we are. It's good to go into a bit of data like this flat because you just never know. I mean, this could, like I said, if this fires up and goes to the moon, I don't get any opportunity to get in it. I'll just clarify opportunities for later on the day or tomorrow. Okay. Oh, big drop. Okay, so right back to the 200. Right back to the open range. Gold is okay. Euro is okay. That's just going to dip into this. Let's have a look. So if you'd stayed in it, you'd given everything back. Euro is okay. Gold's okay. Pound is not happy. I'll consider buying 250 if it looks as if that's going to hold. Euro's back to my entry point. Gold's just slightly underwater. I'm tempted to just drop back in, just give it a bit more time, see where we are. I'm going to nibble a small position here. I'm just going to risking a small position to see if this holds this support. My euro is just fading at the moment. So I literally just to sort of mark a lot, really. Nothing more than mark a lot. If that works and we start breaking above 280, then I will add. But this is very, very good support. It's a decent 60-minute chart. So I'm just long here and just to see if that can just taking a mark a lot to see if we can build that. All right, so I've taken the opportunity just to grab that. Other charts are doing okay. Euro, I'm just about covering my spread. Gold, I'm slightly underwater on. Oil, just dipping back a little bit here. Let's look at the euro pound yen. very narrow range. It's not had the liquidity. Ever since we had that push up late September, we've just not had liquidity in this one. Okay, so just above water on that one. Don't even know. Let's have a look at what the data is. I'm interested to know. House price inflation slightly under the estimate at 5% year on year. Core inflation is 3% as projected. Yeah, it's not as slightly under target, if anything, slightly under target. So this is a classic. This is a very, very good example of how Scalper School can work in your favor. You take the open trading range, you get out on the gap fill, and then you wait until the data comes out, and then potentially reload if it lets you. Classic. This is how Scalper School should work as often as possible. Scalper School entry 1 to the Scalper School target, a fade. And let's see if we can break up, and I will get up more exposure to that. So 9-10 pips off the low. I'm now looking to add to this if I can get it to work. Right, I'm just going to drop down to a smaller time frame and see what this is doing. Let me take those markings off because that's distracting, isn't it? Okay, DAX has come right back. Euro's doing okay. All right, I would add to this if we get back to 265. Yeah, 265 would be my entry point if we drift back to that. Otherwise, not seeing any other trades at all. It's not that, well, I think we're lucky to have picked this one because there's not a lot of options here in this market at the moment. I guess the next thing is we just need that European data out of the way. So we've got German economic sentiment at the top of the hour. Bank of England speaker at 10:15, and then European inflation at 11. Okay. So my little marker lot is 12 pips off the entry, above the entry here. I think you will make more money trading smaller position than you will with bigger position, unless you are a red hot scalper. Okay, so I will add to the position at 265. So this effectively, the open trading range and the gap fill has marked off the high and low of the 5-minute range. So if we break this 280, we could be in for a decent push higher. First 15-minute bar is going to be significant. Okay, just going back down to my target entry. Let's see if we hit that 265. Obviously 255 a full, another fade, or 250 floor will be even better. Yeah, drop back to where that came from would be even better. DAX has been a tough one to trade as usual, unless you really picked your spot very well. You could have grabbed 25-30 pips out of that if you'd really hit that high. Yeah, so there's another 5-minute lower close. There's no buy signal here in a 5-minute chart. So let's hope we get that drift lower. Not sure at this stage if it is going to drift lower. Let's see. Just hoping we get a dip. It's very, overall, it's a very quiet market right now. Again, this is the problem I had last week. The volumes overall were very low across the board in indices and Forex. Seem to have gone to a little bit of a halt at the moment. So I need a nice dip. Oh, we're just a couple of minutes off this 15-minute bar, aren't we? Okay, I will add, I'm just going to take the 75 if I can see it, 75, 77. Okay, I'm just taking added to this one now. I'm got an extra position in this now. Okay, so let's see if I can get that to push through 80 now. Euro is just grinding higher. Gold is grinding a little lower at the moment. Okay, so I have two positions long pound US, one position long euro yen on this account, and one position long gold. And right now the gold is not working. Pound is okay, not great. Let's just see where that 15-minute bar closes. Okay, it's got a higher 5-minute close, that's all. So now we need to see if we can break that 280. Okay, so it's a lower close 15-minute. So probability of this pushing higher is that bit less because the buyers did not come in sufficient level in that 15-minute period to push that higher. We are, however, pushing into, let me just get this 15-minute chart out for you. We are pushing into that 15-minute support. So if we do break this, I think we could at least come back to 340 if we can just close that bit higher. Okay, I'll give it another 5-10 minutes or so, otherwise I'll just leave you with my plan for the rest of the session and day. Yeah, I think this goal's okay, you know. I think it's a thin market overall anyway. It's still just dipping back into session support. Euro is moving in a tight range. Excuse me. DAX is catching a bid. This 15-minute signal has generated a push into that high. So yet again, the 1 hour 200 moving average is holding this one up. So beginning to see a bit more of a push. I'm in positive territory. I'm 16 pips up on the market lot. Looking like that could break higher. Right. So my plan the rest of the day is to stay in that gold, if it lets me, and look for that touch of 13. I mean, my second trade on, well, second scalp of the pound, so far looking like it's likely to work, although certainly no certainties. And a few ticks up in this euro yen. I am definitely looking for a pullback in oil. I would love to see at least a partial gap fill. I'd love to see at least 51.95 on that one, if not the gap fill. So I'll keep you up to date with that. Otherwise, that's it for me. I'm going to sit in those few trades, 3 trades I've got running, or well, open. They're not running as such. And looking for oil, Dow. 900. Something around the 900 mark would tempt me back in if we've got a buy signal there. DAX, I'm leaving alone. Okay, that's, unless you've got any questions, I'm going to part company with that plan in my head and hopefully in your minds. Can't see anything around that would interest you or me. So I'm going to leave it there. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me. The pound US is better, not brilliant at the moment. I'll talk to you later. Talk to you in the Skype room. I'll get the video to you as soon as I can in the next 15 minutes, hopefully. Always give the link a bit of time to work, because I post it as soon as I'm loading it. It sometimes takes 10-15 minutes to process. Thank you very much for joining me, guys. Glad we had a successful morning. I think we've done well picking this pound US and looking for the other trades to come to fruition. Thanks, and see you later.